I don't know how many people I've talked to about anxiety where they're just like, well, why don't you go do yoga? The first time I ever did yoga, I didn't make it through 5 minutes of the class because I sat there and every thought I had came pouring into my head, and it was so quiet and candlelit, and I could hear other people's breathing, and the sounds got really loud, and I had to leave and drink all their free tea and then leave forever. When I got assigned a 50-page thesis for my master's degree, I kind of thought it would be a big deal. It would be one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, mostly because I get bored of writing, and I'm a writer, and that's concerning. When I realized I had left myself 5 days to write my thesis, I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to schedule my time? And I decided to sign up, while I was kind of manic, for a 30-day free intro, not free, it wasn't free, it was $40, a 30-day intro to yoga. When I think about anxiety, I think about doing new things and trying new experiences, all the stuff that I hate. I'd rather just sit in my blanket burrito and watch Netflix all day. But we can't do that. Sometimes we have to do things that scare us. And writing a 50-page thesis, that scared me, but so did going to yoga. So obviously I was like, let's do them at the same time, and that will make the most sense. My name is Leanne. I'm occasionally open to new experiences, and this is Spilt Milk. I went to the first class and I was late, and I had a giant anxiety attack right in the lobby where I was like, I don't know if I can do yoga, and the yoga people were like, everyone can do yoga, and I was like, you don't understand, I don't know if I can do yoga, and I drank their free tea and left, which seems to be a common theme in my yoga practice. I mean, yoga wasn't comfortable for me. It really wasn't. I got there and I was like, I have too many limbs, what do I do with them? And I'm not very flexible, and I'm bad at breathing, but it started helping because all of the worrying and the fear I had would be scheduled into this 1 hour a day where I would go to yoga and feel really worried. I wouldn't worry in the beginning of the day because I'd be like, oh, I have yoga later. And later in the day, I'd be like, well, I already went to yoga, so the worst part of my day is over. And I think that's the opposite of how yoga is supposed to work, but it worked for me. I started, when I had my anxiety attacks, breathing better. I was breathing deeper because I had practiced it in yoga. And as I started going to yoga, my thesis started evolving. Irving Goffin said that people with mental illness could not be full participants in their own lives. And I look at myself and I look at the people I know with mental illness, and I'm like, man, that guy had no idea what he was talking about. If anything, we have to take extra control over our own lives to just get through the day. So I'm writing a series of stories against his findings to prove that, yeah, while mental illness sometimes messes up your ability to tell your story, it also means when you do tell your story, it's that much more powerful. And if we don't take charge of our own treatment plans and our own lives, who's going to do that for us? We have to be active participants. So me going to yoga was kind of this thing where I tried to take charge of the anxiety that was really getting bad. I was having anxiety attacks on trains, planes. Just kidding, I didn't fly anywhere, but that would actually give me an anxiety attack because I'm afraid of flying. You can train yourself to deal better in uncomfortable situations if you put yourself in the kiddie pool first. So I went to yoga, and I don't really like talking to strangers very much because I'm worried that I have food in my teeth or I'm going to say something weird and my breath gets really short in my chest. But yoga people are really nice and really zen, so I train myself to talk to people by talking to yoga people first. I don't know, it's like petting a hedgehog before you pet a porcupine. That's a very bad analogy. Don't pet porcupines, that's dangerous. I think also when you're trying new things and you have anxiety, you have to remember that it's okay to draw the line somewhere. When my yoga instructor was like, now we're gonna stand on our heads, I was like, are you crazy? And then I was like, wait, no, I'm crazy. And then I just stood there and did child's pose while everyone else tried to stand on their head, and then one girl fell down and like almost hit her face on the floor, and I was like, that's what you get. You can't control everything in your life, but what you can control is what you do with your time. So if you are sick and tired of sitting at home and watching Netflix and you need to get up and do something, get up and do something. And it doesn't mean that that's how you fix your anxiety. I'm not saying that's how you fix depression, just get up and do something. But it's a different variable. It's like when you change medications. You won't know unless you try. It's something that you have a little bit of control over in the whole giant, exhausting process of being sick. It may make you smile. It may be a funny story you tell a girlfriend over lunch. And hey, if you made it to lunch with your girlfriend, that's better than being in bed all day. Happy to tell you, I handed in my thesis 2 days ago, and it feels good. And my yoga membership has now expired, and I'm actually thinking of renewing it. Why? Because I tried something new, and I didn't absolutely hate it. My name is Leanne Simpson. I'm really bad at tree pose, and thank you for watching Spilt Milk. So So on top of yoga, one of the things I'm really scared of is fish. And my sister has figured out a way to pet our koi fish, which is weird and creepy and gross, but I'm going to do it today because I'm all about conquering fears right now. They're so gross. I did it.